So what I'm going to do this week is I'm going to do a full auction house overview. Now I understand on its own that could come across as quite boring, but I do think it's very useful information and it's something we're going to be using all the time, and I find it quite interesting myself. But not only that, I'm going to add in the latest Artisan news update that we got from the AMA, which is going to go through all of the latest information and some of the older information and give kind of a basic overview of what's changed and what we know we're going to be going through in Alpha 2. I think it's all vital information. I think it's super useful, but without rambling on anymore, I'll jump right into the video. In a stage 3 village economic node, you're going to have markets. The auction houses are linked to these, and a player will be able to sell raw resources and processed goods there. In a stage 4 town economic node, you will have exchanges. These will have expanded auction houses where the player will be able to sell all goods and items. In a stage 6 metropolis economic node, you will have unlocked the economic node's superpower. This is linked to the economy, and if you want to know more about superpowers within the nodes, let me know. I can do a video on that, but I won't jump into it too much now because it would sway away from the video. But what this allows is economic nodes to share their auction house listings with each other. Now the player's obviously going to have to pay a listing fee, and that's pretty standard in order to list items on the auction house. There will be an NPC in vassal nodes from their parent economic node called an auctioneer emissary. It doesn't matter what type of node the vassal is. Through this NPC you can view items that are listed on the auction house. However, you will not be able to list items through this NPC. Items listed on the auction house will also be able to be viewed through the community boards and the bulletin boards within economic nodes. Depending on what you purchase depends on how the items will be delivered. If you purchase processed materials or gatherables, they will be sent to the node's local warehouse. You will then need to travel to that warehouse to pick them up. If you are then wishing to take them to somewhere else, such as say, I don't know, a home node or maybe your freehold, you'll need to transport them either through the caravan system or another type of transportation, potentially a mule, but like bear in mind there's a bit more risk there, or potentially they might not if you're stealthy, or maybe you own infantry, but that obviously is down to player discretion and what you feel is the right direction to go in or the safest, but each to their own when it comes to that. Anything else that you purchase that is not a material or gatherable will be mailed to the player that purchased them. Selling via the auction house will be taxed differently compared to other ways players can sell items, such as the player stores or personal shops. I do have a video about that, and what I'll do is I'll drop that in the description below, so if you want to check that out, give it a gander. It's got some good information there. Information gathered from auction houses such as price history, volumes, average prices may be able to be seen. This is through a service building that the mayor would have to construct in the node. So obviously that's at mayor's discretion, and potentially they might not go down this path or might not want to do that. So maybe you need to go to another economic node, and there's going to be plenty of them to bounce around, but it really depends on you if it's in that specific zone or biome you want to be playing in. So I would just kind of weigh up your options, and if this is something that you really want to see and they're not doing it, then maybe dip to another node. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump into the latest live stream update that we got from the AMA around the Artisan classes, which was clarified and we got more information on. They'll be laid out, and this question was asked by Sonic Explosion: can we get a more concrete list of professions and which Artisan classes they belong to? Now in my opinion, this is a really fucking good question. It's nice to see a decent question coming out of this, because obviously they picked the most upvoted questions. Now my only issue with this is, and it does sound like a tinfoil hat conspiracy, but it is true, when you pick the most upvoted questions, a lot of people do use all accounts to spam upvote or spam downvote. So I do feel like not only just using the Reddit, they really need to jump into the forums and the greater community the next time they do one of these, but this was a super useful question for definite. From that question, we did find out that they're still going to be sticking to the 3 Artisan trees of gathering, processing and crafting, and then we got an updated list of what will be in each of these trees. Now in the gathering tree we've got fishing, herbalism, hunting, lumberjacking and mining, and if I'm honest, I'm going to be taking part in all of it because it sounds really fucking cool. In the processing tree we have metalworking, stonemasonry, weaving, tanning, lumber milling, farming, animal husbandry, alchemy and cooking. It was not discussed whether animal husbandry would still be split into different trees though, and I am super keen on animal husbandry because it looks fucking awesome and it's something I'm going to invest a shitload of time into. In the crafting tree we have weaponsmithing, carpentry, arcane engineering, which I imagine is definitely going to be to do with obviously spells and whatnot, but this might heavily implement, you know, ship cannonballs, because obviously it's not cannonballs, it's like potions, so that arcane engineering, could be something to do with the ammo, to do with the naval combat, amongst many other things. And then you've obviously got armor smithing, we all know what that is, leather working, tailoring, jewel cutting and scribing. All of these professions have got so much replayability, so much content and depth to them, just from the basic information we know from what Steven said. And getting into Alpha 2, we're really going to test these out and really fucking put them through the runner to see if there's anything broken, what they need added. But going into the launch of the game, I know that's a couple of years down the line and we'll be testing for a long time, we're really set up to have some strong foundations for some fucking serious crafters. Even if you're PvP or PvE, you're really going to take a part in these, and it's going to be some fucking quality content. And then after that, Steven went on to say that many of these would be available during Alpha 2 and that there would be spot testing on the new system they were introducing for the crafting tree. Now the next part is really interesting to me because yeah, okay, I do like some AFK kind of chilling out and farming maybe in my freeholds, but actually taking part. I'm not a fan of just putting an auto clicker on or some shit where you just fuck off from your screen for 3 hours. You don't need to talk, you don't need to communicate, or just spam craft a million things and you just leave your guy at it. I want people to be interacting, because then you're there, then you're engaged, and then you're talking, and it really does help bring, you know, a gaming community or a guild together. And this next part can really help with that, because it just makes it not just a dead no-brainer type of crafting system. You're really going to have to pay attention and put the time aside to really invest in this, and I think the PvEs are going to fucking love it. So what is the new system? Well, the example we got from Steven was for making a sword, but obviously this is just one basic thing. There's going to be many others if you just take your imagination and think where they go with this, because they could really go some cool places. But all crafting professions will have their own interface that crafters will have to interact with. When you go to craft, an interface will open up. You will then have to hammer the sword into the right shape, which will be shown by an outline. Your performance in the interface will help influence the outcome of your craft. This is something they really want to get feedback on. I'll be right amongst this, and I'm sure many others will. Now what this does is when you craft, you have a mini game, so it's not just like half-assed, you've done all the stuff, you get to the end, just let it craft. Then there's some kind of game, a reward that you want to get more skilled at. There's a reason to repeatedly do it, to get better at these little mini games and help you craft the best stuff. And how much is the skill bar gonna be in this? I don't know. Maybe there's certain ones that are gonna be needing a lot more skill. Either way, I really do like this, and to be honest, I'm quite impressed from the AMA and a lot of the information I found out. Now I'm not going to pile it all into this video as we stick into these two separate subjects, but I will jump into more details about the stuff around this, and hopefully this information in the video has helped, you know, bring some more light to what's going on, the changes that's been made, and give you some information on the auction house, because these things all here, the crafting and the farming and all the other things that's within the new update from the AMA, is going to interact heavily with the auction house. So to me, it kind of made sense to put them two into a video. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video, hopefully you'll have learnt something. I do apologise about not getting a video out last week. I've had loads of crazy shit going on in real life. Then once stuff was sorted, I ended up in a crash and my car got written off, so it's been fucking hectic. I'm going to try and get one out next week as well, but there might be a delay sometimes just because I've got a lot of legal stuff going on in a minute and starting a new job and whatnot. But I am not swaying away from Ash's content at all. My videos will be consistent all the way through Alpha 2, up to Alpha 2 and post launch, but you know, these things happen in real life. But I do appreciate the support. I see I'm still getting more subs coming in, which is fucking awesome. So if you could give the video a share, drop a like, and leave any comments and the feedback about this video, what you'd like to see. And as always, I really do appreciate you watching the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.